Hello, welcome to the Grand Cinema Hotel, a podcast hosted by three friends who love cinema. I'm Oliver, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Gus and Nate. Tonight, you will be joining us in the lobby as we discuss the rankings of Quentin Tarantino's filmography. So go ahead, get comfortable, throw on that do not disturb sign as we take a look into the world of Quentin Tarantino.
You don't have to know how to make a movie. If you truly love cinema with all your heart and with enough passion, you can't help but make a good movie.
What's going on, all you tow lovers? Thanks for checking back into the Grand Cinema Hotel. We're thrilled to be back. We're doing something a little bit different this week. We're actually going to be doing a director tier list kind of deal. We're going to rank Quentin Tarantino's movies. We decided to do this because I'm sure with a lot of other people that have kind of gotten into film as they've grown up, Quentin Tarantino seemed to be one of the ones that kind of, opened the door to film as a whole. So, yeah, here we are.
Yes. Hey, guys. Gus here. Tarantino is definitely the one, like I'm sure I'm speaking for the three of us and that you guys would agree that he definitely is the one that got us into movies in the first place. Mm-hmm. Just like many other people, you saw Pulp Fiction, it blew your mind.
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, right.
We were joking about it right before.
Yeah, it's the movie for a certain generation of people like born in the 90s or the early 2000s. And even that movie, like having such a strong like cultural hold on society, just kind of goes to show you, like,
Still does.
Yeah, why he's so influential. Like I remember one of the first times I saw a Tarantino reference and I had no idea who he was. Even was Space Jam when it's like Yosemite Sam and I think Daffy Duck or one of the other characters, and it's like they show up as Vincent Jules with the space guns. Like,
so I forgot that part's even in that movie.
Seriously.
Fucking Space Jam.
So even before I knew who he was, it was just around me. And I remember seeing Pulp Fiction for the first time, and that just blowing my mind. And what the hell is this?
Yeah,
asking
exactly.
my dad. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys have some stuff you want to say.
That
too
was like
about
the
him.
first day when we were like in high school where somebody who was a film buff would be like, do you know Quentin Tarantino movies though? And like it was the first name that I remember like stood out to me in terms of like, besides Steven Spielberg obviously, but like growing up as a teenager, and like Gus said, every kid at that age had like a Pulp Fiction poster at the top of there.
I'm sure there's somebody who still has it.
Yeah.
If you're in college, I bet you have this.
Man, I mean, even when I took film class, there was even the teacher made a joke about that. There's always at least 5 kids from your guys' age who say Pulp Fiction is my favorite movie. And I think it's for a reason. Obviously, it's something to make fun of, but I think it's cool that at least it gets people introduced into being able to see films as a story, not just, it's something that I put on to watch.
It's an amazing movie, but it has the problem that a lot of like phenomenons have where it goes beyond the creator's control. And then it just becomes its whole.
It just like runs rampant.
It's like that's why like it's a funny movie to meme on, not because it's like bad or anything. Like it's far from it. It's one of his best movies, but the cultural relevance around it becomes
insane.
Like it becomes insufferable, like The Matrix or like Star Wars
Marvel
or whatever.
Bros.
Marvel, yeah, like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction is like the original. Oh, have you seen this?
Yeah,
and then like, isn't it so
exactly.
funny when you look back on it to think like, yeah, no shit, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
He's one of the most mainstream movie makers that exist.
Exactly.
But even as kids, we were like, dude, have you heard of this? And like, if you ask anybody who's like 25 or older, they're like, yeah, I fucking heard of Pulp Fiction.
Exactly, because like growing up, like I'd heard my uncle talk about like Reservoir Dogs, and I've heard things about Pulp Fiction, and like I'd never seen them. And then the day finally came where I had finally seen Pulp Fiction, and it opened my world. I was like, holy shit! Like movies they can be different. Like what is this? Like why does this movie feel so different than others? And I think that just kind of kickstarted the whole love of movies. And I'm not going to say like I know we all agree on this, but like he's not our favorite director anymore. Like I don't even know if I'd have him necessarily in my top 4 or 5 working right now. But I mean, just the fact that he was the one that really got like, especially like myself, into movies and movie appreciation on top of that, like I just think it's really cool. And the fact that we've also kind of grown up with him and seeing how he's, pumped out more movies and changed like some stylistic things, it's been interesting.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the great American filmmakers.
Yeah.
And especially of the living ones. Like, I would rank them that it's like Scorsese, PTA, Spielberg, and Quentin Tarantino, right? But I was just joking with you guys before, like not to sound too weird or anything, but like Scorsese's like your cool grandpa.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, he showed me so much cool stuff. Like that was badass. He's got so many cool stories. Tarantino is like that cool uncle where you're like, dude, he's sick.
Why don't you check this out?
Yeah. But then Paul Thomas Anderson's the 10 times cooler cousin who makes you realize that the uncle's not as cool as you thought the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, wait, hold up. My cousin's way cooler than my uncle is.
That's so funny.
But nothing but respect for Tarantino. I mean, goated.
Yeah, I mean, like pretty much every single one of. I mean, I know we're gonna get into it, but I feel like, except for maybe one or two, I love all of his movies. Like, it's not even like I like them. Like, I really do love most of these movies.
I might be harsh in some of the way I rank these, but it's only in the context of his own filmography. Right. You could take his 8th movie, like the movie that I have 8, and it's better than most directors' entire
any
careers.
movies. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's gonna be one of those days. So if we do sound harsh, you just have to understand that it's in the context of only these movies.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we want to get into it.
Yeah. How do you guys want to go about this?
I don't know.
Do you think we should each go like, I'll say my 9th one, Ro says his 9th one, you say your 9th one, Nate, and then we'll kind of either agree or disagree of like, no, I think let's say them, and then we'll come up with like the official grand cinema.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to start?
Sure. All right. So we'll start from the bottom of the top then. My least favorite movie of his that we have. I know you kind of wanted to talk about. We're not doing.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna do True Romance, From Dusk Till Dawn, My Best Friend's Birthday, Natural Born Killers, or the segment of 4 Rooms, and we're definitely not doing his ER or CSI episodes.
But that would be number 1.
Yeah, if we were. I just want to make it clear.
Yeah. We're gonna leave those ones off. This is ones that are only written and directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay. So with that, my least favorite of his movies, I have Death Proof as one of my least favorite movie.
Consensus?
I think that's a consensus.
I think that is the general consensus for all 3 of us, probably.
Go ahead.
I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so like I kind of wanted to rewatch it just to see if maybe I'd put it higher, but I didn't end up doing it. So,
does anybody really want to defend this movie?
No.
No, I think this is the one that you're talking about in terms of context of, well, it's still in the QT ranking. Like, yeah, it's 9, and it's not a terrible film. It's all style. It's all style.
You know what? I'm already retracting one of my earlier statements that this is the one movie of his where and maybe one other where it's like, there's people who have made better movies than this. You know, I was saying like, where I'm like, someone could have maybe done this better than Quentin Tarantino.
Death Proof almost feels like it's a small film. Like it really is. It almost feels like a short film from what I can remember.
I feel like that is a B movie, and Key loves B movies so much.
It's almost
that's
a parody,
a B movie.
Even though Grindhouse it's more of an homage, but Death Proof just feels like a parody to me.
Yeah, it kind of does.
I have no remembrance of the characters other than Kurt Russell. Everyone just feels like indisposable in this
kind of
movie.
blah.
You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It just feels so plain. It just feels like it was something he wanted to do just to get it out of his system more than like a passion.
Yeah.
Me and Nate had kind of talked about this off pod, that sometimes a director makes a movie and you can tell that they weren't expecting this to be like their best movie, or that wasn't even the goal.
Like, I feel like it's almost like him and Robert Rodriguez kind of got together, like, let's fuck around and make some crazy shit, and we'll just release like a double feature Grindhouse.
This is
you know what I mean?
Rich guy fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's have some fun. Let's do some weird shit.
I think what it suffers from too, though, is the fact that like the story isn't even as heavy as any of the other stories that he has. So you're already starting with something small.
Yeah.
It's not, how much crazier can it get, really? And
it just leaves me kind of when I watch it, you know. But
all right,
we're gonna move on from that.
Yeah. Let's go on.
Should I start with 8?
Do your number 8 then? Yeah.
Okay. I have, and this one is up for contention of where we would really put it, but I have Jackie Brown at 8.
I have Jackie Brown at 8 too.
I also have Jackie Brown at 8. so far the brain waves are hitting.
I do like Jackie Brown a lot.
Yeah,
I do think there's a lot of fun stuff about it. The cast is really cool. Robert De Niro, Samuel L. Jackson. Her name is escaping me right now.
Yeah.
Can someone get that name
Pam
for me
Grier.
real quick? Yeah, Pam Grier. Sorry, disrespectful.
I know. How can we do this?
She's a classic.
And Chris Tucker's in it.
Yep.
You got Robert Forster's in it. Michael Keaton makes an appearance for a while. It's a pretty stacked movie.
It does have a really good cast.
Yeah. I think it's his first hangout movie of the 3. Like Reservoir Dogs kind of has that attitude in some of the scenes, but Jackie Brown just feels like a movie where you're kind of visiting an old friend, where you're like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go hang out with
exactly.
them for a bit. It's nothing too serious.
Right.
They're gonna fuck around.
It's like for like a crime movie, and like, you know, what the stakes truly are on this movie, it feels almost kind of like sleepy and a little less. I was just a little less engaged in this movie than some of his other ones, so I think that's kind of why I ranked it a little bit down.
But it does have really cool characters, like you said, and
yeah.
some of the what was the words escaping me, like homages that he made to film under, like The Graduate in the
this
beginning,
airplane sequence in The
Yeah,
Graduate.
so like the homages
Airport.
that he makes in that film I think are really good, but I do think it like lacks the story seems a little too straightforward for him, if that makes any sense.
Even with the quote unquote Rashomon type styling of the heist sequence, it's still just kind of over it by like the second or third time seeing it. It does feel a little longer than it actually is. I
do
say.
remember it feeling kind of long.
I think that's a good thing. Like I've watched it twice, and I probably could watch it 2 more times, and then I would be okay with never seeing it again.
I think I've seen it like 4 times, maybe.
I think I've seen it 3.
It's a cool movie to put on to just throw on.
Yeah, because there's not that really you're not really gonna miss anything by not paying attention.
Exactly.
And you can keep peeking into any scene and be like, "Oh, this is cool. I remember this from this scene." So, like you said, I really like Jackie Brown, but it definitely is my 8 too.
Jackie Brown is like like Death Proof. I just don't like it. Right, it doesn't work for me.
Right.
But Jackie Brown is like it's so low, but I actually like it a lot.
That's when it starts. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on from that one?
Yeah, I just want to say, because like Jackie Brown, like I like it. I don't love that movie. I feel like the rest of the movies on this list I do love. So that's kind of where it starts, I feel like. But you want to go to number 7, Ron?
Okay, so I have number 7. I think this might be where this starts to go a different way, but I have The Hateful Eight at number 7.
Bum bum bum. All right. Okay.
What do you got? What do you have, Nate?
My number 7, I have Reservoir Dogs. Okay. So
I have Reservoir Dogs at
your
number 7.
I have Reservoir Dogs at 6. So I
Okay.
guess I'm willing to hear that.
Okay.
That argument.
You said you have Hateful Eight at 7.
So I have it before Reservoir Dogs. I like Reservoir Dogs a little more than I like The Hateful Eight.
Okay. I mean,
There's things about it. Okay, so I've been having a pickle of a time of trying to place The Hateful Eight.
I know you.
Because I really like some of it. Like some of it is so high, and some of it is laughably bad to me. And it's kind of the only movie of his where I actually feel that way, where I'm not just completely sold on it. Reservoir Dogs, the only thing I take away from it is that it feels like a first movie, and then to know what's coming after this, it's not whether I like it or not, it's just not as good. And like that's how I feel about Tarantino, is that he's grown so much from 1 to 9 that even if you really have like an emotional attachment, or you think, oh well, this is so good, its age doesn't really have anything to do with it for me, you know? Like I do think his middle period is his strongest period. And I think the early one is cool and all of that, and like it's some of the most iconic movies, but Reservoir Dogs just feels so small.
That's how I feel. I think the way that I look at it is like Reservoir Dogs it's a first movie. Like it's good. I love that movie. I think it's very enjoyable. But then compared to like the technicalities in The Hateful Eight, like the cinematography and stuff like that, and even like I know that I probably have The Hateful Eight ranked higher than you do, like the highest out of the 3 of us probably. And like I know like you're not the biggest fan of it because of like dialogue is so corny in some spots, right?
Yeah, that's one reason.
Yeah. But I like it for that fact, because I think that in some in some movies where you just have like a one setting type deal, it doesn't hurt to kind of have the dialogue go a little over the top. But I get it. But compared to Reservoir Dogs, I do think The Hateful Eight is a better movie.
I'm gonna come back to that point about the dialogue and how it works. So you had Reservoir Dogs at 6, and you had The Hateful Eight at 7.
So guys, Jesus Christ, sorry. So what I was going to say is the reason I really like The Hateful Eight too. Like this, I think I was telling you this, like from Jackie Brown all the way up to from Jackie Brown to Django, they're 4 stars, and then from everything at the top, they're 5 stars. So I really like The Hateful Eight. I think the only reason I don't like it as much as, if I'm correct, is that this is right after Django, right? The Hateful Eight is the one right after Django. So I guess it just bugged me that he necessarily was like, let me do the same, very similar films back to back. And also, it's the one that I've seen the least. Like each one of the other ones that I've watched them more than once. And
Me and you
that's
saw
the
this
other
movie
one
together back in 2015. at one of our AMCs that we go to.
Yeah, and then I've seen parts of it like back when I've watched like stuff on YouTube of like video essays on stuff on Quentin Tarantino, and like I like it a lot. And then I remember when you rewatched it, I remember like I do really like that movie, but I don't know if for some reason the reason it's down there is because I know I like Reservoir Dogs more. A lot of Reservoir Dogs like dialogue with the whole like the tipping thing in the beginning.
Yeah,
I think is like very like that's what made Quentin Tarantino, and like those little intricacies about his dialogue. And since it was the first one, I guess it holds like a little bit of a since the Hateful Eight is a repetitive notion from its past, and the hateful in Reservoir Dogs it seems just a little bit more quote unquote original.
I can feel that.
Are we going to take into account that Reservoir Dogs is kind of a ripoff of a Chinese film?
No, because all of his films are ripoffs of films. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at some point, kind of. I don't know.
I know Reservoir Dogs is a little more like
shot for shot.
Yeah,
ripoff.
like actual like we just remade this movie, but I mean that's what he does, and it kind of makes sense for him to do that for his first movie. So
you know.
But I am. What I forgot to say was I am for the list of the podcast willing to just switch those two since you two agree on it being Reservoir Dogs being 7.
I just think that even though I think there's some really bad stuff in the Hateful Eight, that its highs are just too high to put it under
that movie. Yeah, that movie has one of the most it has one of my favorite shots in like cinema history. Like where in the beginning where they're riding on like the mountain with the stagecoach and it's like a super long shot. I love
That's
that
what I was
shot.
going to bring up. What I do like about the Hateful Eight is that I always remember how it started.
Nothing in Reservoir Dogs is as good as Samuel L. Jackson provoking General Smithers about how his son sucked his dick.
Big Black Johnson.
And it was warm.
Oh my god! Like the highs in that movie are really high.
Yeah.
Okay, I would be willing to if you're willing to, because I have the Hateful Eight. I think above where you guys have it. I would be willing to do.
This is the biggest sacrifice. You'd be making the biggest sacrifice out of all.
I would be willing to do Reservoir Dogs at 7 and then do Hateful Eight at 6.
Okay.
For the podcast.
Okay.
Because I have the Hateful Eight at 5. So.
Okay.
All right.
I like that.
So we're gonna go Reservoir Dogs at 7.
Yes. And then Hateful Eight in front 6. Of it.
Because basically we're at this point we argued for 6 and 7 already.
Yeah.
So should we just go? You want to go 5? I guess.
Well, do you want to talk about what we really like about the Hateful Eight? Since we're
yeah, dude.
we can't just really skip it, right?
No, yeah, that's true.
I love the Ennio Morricone score. I'm pretty sure this is still true, but it's the only film of his that has an original score. He had always said that he didn't want to give someone else control over his movie like that. And that's why he's so soundtrack heavy for the most part. Or even if there's scores in his movie, it's usually from another movie.
It's reused, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a reused one. But yeah, that score is amazing. It adds this is one of the instances of Quentin Tarantino getting into horror, right? Like the horror element. And like the Hateful Eight is so obviously inspired by The Thing. You know what I mean? Like you can't miss that if you've seen it. The setting, the tension between
isolation.
The isolation, the tension between the members of the house.
Even the scene where like they have to go put the things in the snow
when they go in the outhouse. That's exactly what I was going to say. It looks like
like the thing. Yeah,
it's so good.
Because somebody did a shot by shot comparison, and I never thought about it because I was like, oh,
like
yeah,
the floodlights behind everything. It just looks so good.
Yeah, the Hateful Eight has got some of his most beautiful shots in his career. Like the shots of the that you're talking about, like with the stagecoach, when it does like the close-ups of the horses' like faces. Ooh,
give me that.
That to me is cinema.
My favorite part I think about the Hateful Eight is definitely the cast.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
See, yes and no, because I think a lot for me, it just Michael Madsen doesn't work in this one.
Tim Roth.
Yeah, Oswaldo Mowbray. I think it's. I just the Hateful Eight is one of the only times where I had told you guys this, and I know you guys don't agree with me on this, but it's the only time, just like with the French Dispatch, where I was just the shtick is not working for me. Your thing that you do that I love and everything else, it just doesn't hit. It just doesn't hit.
It's funny because this one's the opposite for me. That's the only reason I think it works. Like if somebody else directs this movie, I don't care.
No, this movie wouldn't get made, but I don't know. I think the delivery of the dialogue it's just not there for me the way it is in like especially Django. Like, I think Christoph Waltz is the best actor.
Yeah.
For him that he's worked with, like for delivering that dialogue that is corny, but made in a real, like not an original way, but like an authentic way.
There's
like,
more to say about that.
The deliveries in that is authentic, and I understand like in The Hateful Eight that they're Oswaldo Mowbray is not his real name, and he's playing a character because he's just some outlaw or whatever. Oh, he's part of the Domingre gang.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's like a couple of times my eyes were ready to roll out of my head. Like that's how hard I was.
Yeah,
not enjoying some of the Hateful
It definitely did not bother me like that. I'm like, I agree with you. I do think that the dialogue is different than some of the other stuff, but like I don't like the Oswaldo like that doesn't bother me. Like,
it makes me horse laugh.
Like that's just funny. Like I like that. I like that stuff is over the top, and I like that it really like I don't know. I enjoy that.
The last time you watched, the last time that you watched it? Did you watch the one that's cut up into scenes, into episodes?
I did,
which
I think that's even better.
That's what I was gonna say is maybe that makes a big difference though too, because now you're seeing it. Its pacing is different than you watching it in its entirety. You know, which I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends on your opinion, but
to take a movie and turn it into a TV show.
Well, not a TV show. I guess it'd be a limited series,
a miniseries,
or miniseries as they call them. Whatever.
Slippery slope, right?
What's
a miniseries? What's a movie?
I mean, I normally wouldn't think that works, but the way that he did it for that specific movie, I think it works perfectly.
Because I mean, you watched it in one sitting, so right?
No, I actually didn't.
It's 2 sittings.
Yeah, I watched it in 2 sittings.
So like you started one day and then like
I'm just kidding.
I mean, sometimes you watch half a movie or whatever. But I was gonna say I haven't seen it that way, so I'd be interested in seeing that pacing. You know,
and it does add a little bit more. Like it has, I think it's like 15, 20 more minutes of the movie.
The other things I don't like about The Hateful Eight that don't work for me is when he interjects himself in the intermission and he's like, "And this is what this chapter's called, Dammergoose."
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Like no, thank you, no, thank you for me.
Yeah,
and the other thing I didn't like was the slow motion gunfight in the cabin.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that stuff doesn't bother me. So yeah,
I don't remember that one.
I think it's just personal.
But
yeah, but all right, move on.
Sure.
So we have our 6 set. 6 is Hateful Eight.
6 is Hateful Eight.
So okay. I do have a different number 6 because I've moved my Hateful Eight down. So I guess I'll just throw mine out there. My 6 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Ooh. So
what?
My 6. Well, it was The Hateful Eight. Wait, are we on 5 now?
Yeah, we're on 5.
We're on 5 now. 5. Okay, my 5 is Pulp Fiction. Actually, yes.
Okay, got you. So,
Ro.
No, this is where we're gonna. I have Django.
Okay.
Ooh,
Here we go.
Since you started, I guess why is it so low?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I have at 6, just because. I mean, I love the movie. Like I said, I think it's a lot of fun. Like I'm aware that it's this big homage to like 70s film and what he grew up around, kind of. But I also feel like, I don't know, the story just doesn't hit me in the same way as a lot of other things. Like it's not that I don't like this movie, but I guess I prefer some of the more serious movies that he's done, I guess. Once Upon a Time, like it works. It's really good, but just personally, I just don't like it as much as some of his other ones.
I'm willing to move Once Upon a Time lower because I think I have this bias towards it. Maybe it's recency bias. I like the maturity that we get from Quentin Tarantino Once Upon a Time. That's why I have it. I have it at a 4, but I could see, for the one that I have 5 in, I could see how that is just a more entertaining time. I think is Once Upon a Time his longest movie? Besides if you merge the Kill Bills?
I mean, I don't know.
It's at the top of your head, yeah.
No.
It's like
they all are long as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
You could argue they're all too long.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say I just have it higher. I could see why it would drop lower.
I have Pulp Fiction at 5, and I'm pretty sure neither of you agree with me there.
Yeah, I think that's way too low.
Yeah, I have Pulp Fiction a little bit higher than that.
I think that's one of his top 3s. Because, yeah, especially me. But, like, because what do you have Pulp Fiction at?
I have it at 4. So.
Yeah. That's not that much higher.
No, it's not.
Okay.
I have Pulp Fiction at 4.
Yeah, I mean, what more is there to be said about Pulp Fiction? I feel like we've kind of already said it all. Yeah. It's just its level of filmmaking. I just think, like I said, his middle period is so much higher. It's the highest highs to me. So that it's not that I'm having a hard time saying I would think they're all 5 stars from this point on, but I kind of do feel that way. So like Pulp Fiction, it's not that it's less than Django. It's not that it's less than Inglourious Bastards or anything like that. I just think that the filmmaking level is taken such a higher step. This is what you can do with no money. And it's like, you've done the highest high of like an indie movie. But then after that, it's just like on a technical level, I respect it like so much more. Like how much went into it, the actors, the budget, you know, like the people that you can work with, the costumes, just everything about like that higher level of filmmaking. And like even The Hateful Eight, that's why I think it's so high. Like if you look at that movie, you're like, he couldn't have made this in the early part of his career. It would not look this good.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, or even the cameras they use, like shooting it in like the 70 millimeter and stuff like that.
Crazy.
They weren't going to give him the chance to do that as a. We're lucky Pulp Fiction wasn't shot on videotape.
That's a good point.
Handheld camcorder.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Ro, I know you've been watching David Lynch movies, so let's wait till you get to the handheld camcorder ones. Yeah. I mean, I'd concede this. You can put Pulp Fiction higher. That's fine.
What do you have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as? Because I guess that would be we're arguing because
I had it at 4 as well, so it'd be 4 and 5. Like.
All right, so what goes in front of what? Pulp Fiction or
I think so far, so Death Proof 9, Jackie Brown 8, Hateful Eight 7, Reservoir Dogs 6. I'd be willing to put, I don't know if you are, Once Upon a Time at 6. Or at 5, sorry.
5.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, sure, because I know Nate doesn't like, he has it lower on his list anyways by the one, so I'm not really.
Yeah,
there's no really
4,
a
so
choice in arguing this, honestly.
No, because I could see how this is where I guess I'm gonna like. To me, Django follows this. Like Django has to be 4
after the.
No.
Wouldn't it be? This is difficult.
5.
Yeah.
So we're deciding between 5. We're 5 and 4 right now, right?
So 5, I think, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I would agree, and then I would put Pulp Fiction ahead of that. But
okay, let's just do that.
Okay.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is 5, and Pulp Fiction is 4.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now we got to round out the
That's
top
where I
three.
disagree heavily, but
I do think that
that's so close though. Like,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though, I was telling Nate like the Leo and the Brad Pitt of it all. It's so much better, like of a casting choice than almost any of his other movies. That's another reason why it's so high up. It's like you got the 2 biggest movie stars, like other than Denzel Washington, being in your movie together, playing buddies. Like, and one of the reasons I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood so much is that I know some people feel it's not like this crazy revelation from his other work. It's just that it's a nice movie. You know what I mean? Except for the end, which is the ultra violent. It's the ultra violent payoff that you are waiting for, but. It's the only movie like that where it's like, so you do know how to write people actually being friends. You know what I mean? Because like in any of his other movies, like Django and Dr. Schultz are not friends.
No, they're partners.
Jules and Vincent are not friends. Jackie Brown is definitely not friends with Samuel L. Jackson or...
Well, I do agree with you that this probably was the first movie where he was really able to show that he can write 2 people that actually like each other. That doesn't necessarily change the fact how I feel about the other movies. Like, that's cool, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I like this movie more than the other ones.
Would you say you have it? You have Once Upon a Time there because of how you feel about the other ones in front of it more?
Exactly. Like I don't have it lower because I feel any type of way about Once Upon a Time. Like I said, I love that movie. I probably have it at like 4.5 stars, maybe 5 stars. But the other ones in front of it, I just prefer.
Like love.
Yeah, like absolutely love it. So
that makes sense.
The flamethrower scene at the end can't persuade you to put it a little higher.
Damn, it's so close. The
crisping hippies in your pool.
The acid cigarette and dog food to the face.
He said, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do devil shit."
It's so good. No, that movie's so.
It's possibly his funniest movie. Too.
I could agree with. It probably is.
Who would have thought Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt being this like comedic pairing
doing this
together?
Good old buddy comedy? Yeah,
it's awesome.
It is awesome.
But I will take the. I guess me and Ro will take the L on this one, and I'll put Once Upon a Time at 5. And are we gonna do what's next?
Pulp Fiction, I guess.
I have Pulp Fiction at 4, but I mean I could be argued against or persuaded or whatever. So
okay, well let's talk about Pulp Fiction at 4 right now, and let's see if. Ro, can you make an argument for the one we have at 3? If that like Pulp Fiction should at least be there? Like, let's see if you can still save
Can
Pulp
we move
Fiction.
it up? How far can we move this
I know,
up?
because that was my goal, was to, I thought it was going to go 3. So 4, I guess, is 1 off. So can I argue for it to drop 1? It's his only one that's 1 cans, I think, is a big thing. Like I said, it's funny, right before. I was going to pull the internet card here. It's the highest rating on all of the websites out of all of his movies. Obviously you have letterbox users, film bros.
Oh, sick!
You have film bros and like letterbox, right? That obviously this is my favorite movie. Hit 5 stars automatically. But I like to think that IMDb and what's the other one? Metacritic like to take the best out of everything, right? And then just average
But it's fresh
score
on the Rotten Tomatoes meter.
Exactly.
So I was gonna pull that card.
Well, how do you feel about this opinion, though? I feel like the letterbox guys that we're talking, or guys and girls and everyone in between, that aren't they kind of the people that we were just memeing on about having the poster in their wall and that? Well, it's the first movie I ever saw like this that got me into.
But that's what I was gonna, that was my argument, though, is that yes, it's memeable, but is it necessarily is that why it's bad?
No.
I don't think it's bad.
No, or
That's
like
the
is that
thing.
why it's not? It can't be true that it is that good of a movie because it's memeable. Be like, oh, because everybody seems to like it so much.
I really do think, I mean, like, it is a fucking 5-star movie. Like, Pulp Fiction's fire.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's a lot of nostalgia stake. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people probably classify it as #1 because of nostalgia.
I guess,
like,
my bad. Sorry to cut
no,
you off.
you're good. I'm done.
So I was gonna say
You're passionate. Let's go ahead.
I guess my counter argument here would be why Django should go in front of Pulp Fiction.
Because I like, honestly, technical level, I think it's a technically better movie.
I think Django is an epic.
It is an epic.
Yeah.
Whereas Pulp Fiction, you do have, like, I mean, it is a smaller film, but it's just this, it makes, I feel like the different storylines and not being linear makes it feel like a bigger movie than it really is.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
True.
So.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against Pulp Fiction. But like, it's kind of like I just said a couple minutes ago that, like, I feel like from 5 and up that I could be like, these are all 5-star, or any of these you could argue is #1. And with like the whole culture surrounding Pulp Fiction, I just think that there's a nostalgia bias for it. Well, because of those reasons. And it's not that it makes it worse, but it's just that you're looking at it with like the most bias out of all of these, I feel like. Or not just you in general, but like Pulp Fiction stands, that there's a certain level of otherness than just the movie that goes along with it, you know?
It's like the movie almost kind of became something other than just a movie.
Django,
you know what I mean?
The Kill Bills, Inglourious Basterds, they don't have the same cultural relevance around them, I think. Like, you know, nobody's going to Halloween parties dressed up as the guys from Inglourious Basterds. But you know how many dudes probably went, hey, Nate, you want to be my wingman
Jules and
tonight? And
Vincent.
let's go dress as Jules and
I'm going to
Vincent.
dress up as Beatrix Kiddo, though.
That is another reason why I think I have it higher, is story-wise, ambitiously. It is more ambitious than Django. Django's pretty straightforward. There's like,
but it's an epic revenge tale.
That be like, and yeah, I agree. I really like Django too, but I guess
It's just the scale for me.
Yeah, I think so for me, too. Like, I don't know.
This is probably a pretty like far reach or an out there comparison, but this is kind of like, you know how recently you watched Duel, Steven Spielberg's first TV movie, and you really liked that a lot, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too dramatic here, but that's like being like, well, actually, it's better than Jaws.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I've never seen it, so I don't know. But
Where it's just like, yes, it's a smaller movie, but it's like the level, man. There's just something about the level of filmmaking behind it, where he's a more mature director when he's making Django or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood versus him just being a film bro who got to make Pulp Fiction, you know?
But is it though? Dialogue wise, do you really think Django's better than Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, I do think so. I just like Django more than Pulp Fiction overall.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damn.
At
a crossroads.
like,
It's
there's
not
like,
better than a Royale with cheese.
and then talk about like just the Royale
Path
with
of the
cheese,
Righteous
or
Man.
just like because I feel like it's so carried heavily in dialogue, and Django's carried so much in like style. Like, yes, obviously dialogue is really good too. That's why Quentin Tarantino's Quentin Tarantino. But I do think if it's not cowboy revenge story, is it as good?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Django; it'd be a whole other movie. But
Yeah,
I don't know if that comparison exactly works.
I do think that Django is flashier. I would agree, and the dialogue in Pulp Fiction might be better. I honestly haven't seen both these movies in probably a year or two so I couldn't say with 100% certainty, but I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I do like Django more than Pulp Fiction, but I mean, it's hard to argue against Pulp Fiction too. So,
yeah,
it's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just that you're being outweighed right now.
But we are here to make a cohesive list. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
Pulp Fiction 4.
Yeah, I guess so.
So then 3. What do we got at 3?
It has to be you guys arguing for Django.
Yeah,
I do have Django.
I have Django at 3.
Yeah.
What about
I have Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds at 3. Okay.
But I mean, based off where the thing is moved to, I guess I would have Django at 3 because it got moved. Like,
you might need to reorganize your notes real quick, so because your list has been thrown off for sure.
Yeah, I would probably put Django at 3, honestly. Like we've already kind of talked about. I think it's super stylistic. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the dialogue's good. I think Leo plays one of the greatest villains of all time, honestly.
Yes, that is why I like Django more. And not because he's a villain, but I just think that Leonardo DiCaprio and the character of Calvin Candy is probably one of his best characters.
Yeah.
It's between that and like Hans Landa and, well, not Django himself, but maybe Jules. Like, I think those are probably like my three favorite Quentin Tarantino
characters.
Yeah.
That's cool because then at 2 I have Inglourious Basterds. So
that's where I have Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah.
That's where it would fall down for me too. Yeah, Inglourious Basterds.
Because I like Inglourious Basterds. I do like Inglourious Basterds more than Django because I do like it's not as flashy as Django. I think the dialogue is probably better than Django, and it's just such a fun fuck the Nazis movie. And like it really has like that opening scene to Inglourious Basterds, like that anxiety, dude. Wow.
If he didn't have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that would be his like closest to being tame film because all of that in your segments.
But it's honestly it's kind of true.
No, because it's like the first. Besides, obviously, in the beginning, I forget the name of Christopher Waltz's character.
Hans Landa.
Yeah. Like, besides him just shooting it up in the beginning scene, that whole first sequence we talk about the milk, about him switching up how many languages he knows, and then you get the stuff of like Brad Pitt not being able to speak any Italian and all of that stuff, and it has nothing to do with violence. Or you get like all of the theater stuff that I forgot her name too does.
Shoshana.
Yeah, like she does, like so that stuff is not based on any violence, and I think you get a lot of
There's so
that
much
dialogue.
violence sprinkled throughout that movie.
There is.
The sequences of how they show how the bastards come together.
Yeah.
Like where they're like, this guy's like an expert Nazi killer. I can't remember his name right now.
The Bear Jew?
No, not even him. The one that they get who's like he was a Nazi and then you know what I mean? They were going to have him on the shooting wall. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, how you like to go pro? Yeah, he's like, I heard you're in the Nazi killing business.
And there's just so many sequences, like long scenes in that movie that are just like, they take my breath away. Like we said, the opening scene, the scene where it's that German guard's birthday and they're playing the game of Heads Up or whatever.
Oh, that's an incredible scene. The underground shootout in the bar
where everybody died. Like, dude, like wow.
That is what I mean about like, yes, Pulp Fiction is 5 stars, but that like maturity and level and having control over a scene like that.
And then just
Inglourious Basterds underground scene is more tense than the Pulp Fiction diner scene of like, bitch, be cool.
I think so too.
Yeah, you know,
but not more tense than when he finds him in the GIMP. Like it's not more intense than the scene where he has to save Marcellus Wallace and the knife.
That scene comes off as kind of comical though. Like I'm gonna grab a bat and then a sword and then a chainsaw. Like it to me that's where it loses its like tension and it becomes like this is funny now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I think it's funny, but I do find the basement scene to be a little more tense than that. But even then, just the theater scene, like you said, when they can't speak Italian, like that shit's so funny. Gorlami,
he speaks the third most Italian. I don't speak any Italian,
and it's just so good to watch. Like that movie, Inglourious Basterds, like the cast is phenomenal, but I think the reason why it sits so high is because of Christoph Waltz's performance.
Yeah,
like that really just elevates the film to put it like sitting at the top right here.
It's Leo and Christoph Waltz, like his two best performances
Right.
that he's ever gotten out of acting.
Because I love Christoph Waltz in Django, but I like him even more in Inglourious Basterds.
That's a bingo.
His character.
Like just watching him in the theater scene where he knows that they're full of shit, and you can just watch. You know what I mean? Just watch him make his moves towards the actor.
This might be my masterpiece.
So yeah, I don't know. I love that movie though.
No, yeah, that's a really good.
Inglourious Basterds is
All
a
right,
lot
so
of fun.
is it Django 3 and Inglourious Basterds 2?
That's what I have it at. Yeah.
That's what the list looks like. Yeah.
Which only leaves us with, well, 2 movies.
Compromise means no one's happy.
I mean, yeah, I honestly can't believe they Hateful Eight, but whatever, it is okay. But yeah, that takes us to what, number 1 now, huh?
Yeah, it just makes sense. Talking about epics, Kill Bill.
We're combining both the movies as one.
Kill
obviously.
Bills.
The Kill Bills.
Kill Bills.
What is it, the whole bloody
whole
affair?
bloody affair.
Yeah.
Come on.
Dude.
Come on.
What do I need to say? This movie's got everything. It's got the pussy wagon. It's got an old...
Everything you like about all the other movies come to full fruition in Kill Bill. He obviously, the whole bloody affair, the official cut, he's the only one that has it. Everything else that we see is, I guess, third party made. But he himself has said that he would have wanted to make it one long film. Obviously, the studios weren't going to have that. Yeah, it's just epic.
So what I want to say about it being one movie, even though it's separated as 2, is like, well, we're still seeing those kind of things today. That's what Dune is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Kill Bill, you can't separate them.
No.
Like, it's not a separate story.
It's really not.
It really is just the other half of the story that you didn't see in the first
It's so
part.
interesting because you have the full first movie, which is just almost balls to the wall action the whole time. And then the second movie is a lot more exposition, and you find out the background, and you get the mystery behind Bill and what really happened between everybody. And that's fucking awesome. And I love both movies. Like, how can you have a movie that's just all action and then another movie that's pretty much all exposition, and they both fucking work? Like, it's impressive.
And
The 5-finger touch at the end.
God damn!
what it refers stylistically, it looks so fucking nice. And then I always remember the scene where she just stabs the lady who has one eye.
Oh, yeah.
She stabs her other eye out. And like she like doesn't kill her, but might as well. You know what I mean?
She leaves her stranded in the desert.
Yeah, with the snake
I was
in
gonna
the...
say she leaves him like
Black
that.
Mamba.
Yep.
She leaves him like Flute Boy and ran.
That's so
Kill
funny.
Bill really is the highest of his highs.
I
though.
think so,
And
too,
It's
man.
where he took that leap of being like, I am a serious blockbuster. Everyone knows who I am. Come see my movie, filmmaker.
It's just so cool, and just to have, and also just to have the main actor be a female, Uma
Yeah,
Thurman. Like that's really cool.
cool.
To make females be fucking badass in this movie, I think is really cool. So
The Fox Force 5.
exactly, like that's just badass.
The Fox.
It's the Fox Force 5 realized. Nice.
And then just and I also love the old Chinese like martial arts guy that she has to go visit in the second one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That shit's so cool.
I personally love Hattori Hanzo, the sword maker. That's
That's
fucking
just
sick.
good. Yeah.
I like when he writes Bill on the window.
Yeah.
He's like thinking about him. It's
It's
like
so
Bill. Yeah, man. Kill Bill is fucking awesome. Like the martial arts, the technical level, the story. I think the reason I have Django and Kill Bill so high is because of like their epic nature. You know what I mean? I just love seeing you're like, okay, all these things I like about Quentin Tarantino taken to the max. You know what I mean? It's just I kind of wish I had more to say, but like I'm still every time I watch Kill Bill, I'm kind of just in awe of,
Yeah,
of
like,
like
this
what I'm
is
experiencing.
perfect.
We get David Carradine, which
Yeah,
is cool.
he is incredible.
Yeah, I guess that's a cool one for old people because they used to watch him on TV.
Yeah.
Like that's a my dad reference where he's like, "Oh look, it's kung fu." Like, what the fuck?
But I mean, I think that's what this film is. Like I'm talking about homage to the not just this is how some people feel about his other films. Like you just ripped it off. But like no, this is him taking the best of those and then him putting the Quentin Tarantino lens on all of them.
Really transforming it into his own thing.
By even bringing in David Carradine, and I'm pretty sure
Dude,
Hattori Hanzo is from other stuff.
You
too.
know, yeah. I mean, those actors that he brought in. It's like them even being in the movie is an homage because they're like I'm pretty sure the Hattori Hanzo guy is an actor that he watched in like either Japanese or Chinese cinema.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? What was I gonna say about Kill Bill right now?
That it's sick.
Well, yeah. I mean, other than that, it's the animated sequence.
Yes.
That
That's just so
shit
cool.
is sick, and I always wished I could have got more of it. Like when the dude like flicks the cigarette up in the air and then he like roundhouse kicks it and it starts the fire. I'd always wanted to see a kill like an animatrix style Kill Bill side thing. You know?
Even that ambition to just throw that in there, you know, that there's none of that in any of his other movies.
The Crazy 88.
Dude, awesome. I mean, he uses yeah, right. He uses black and white. He uses color. He uses animation. Like the film's got everything.
Dude, the zoom of when she rips out the eyeball.
Zoom, yeah. So
Come on, the pussy wagon.
Yeah, that's the thing. The camera work in that movie is just impressive.
My name's Buck, and I fuck.
Oh, God, damn.
Yeah, man. Are we cool with this? At Kill Bills at one.
Kill Bills and numero uno. Yeah, I'm with it.
Dude, shooting her in the face and like the stomach, and then she still lives and all of that. Like, it's just such an epic revenge story. Like, I would love to, if I had the time in a day, to watch the Kill Bills and Mandy together.
And then he just leaves that little
breaking out of the coffin.
Yeah,
with the 1-inch punch. Come on.
Yeah, she leaves Vivica A. Fox's daughter. She's like just waiting for her, basically. Like,
oh yeah, they always say that he should cast Zendaya as her daughter. All right, are we cool with this?
Yeah, let's read off the list then, since we have it.
Does anybody have it? I want to make sure that we have this the right way now. All right, so we have Death Proof at 9. That was a consensus. Yep. Yeah. Jackie Brown at 8. That was another consensus. And then we switched it up with Reservoir Dogs being number 7, and that's what me and Ro had agreed with, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have The Hateful Eight at 6. I wonder if any of us are leaving this list happy. Once Upon a Time at 5, Pulp Fiction at 4, Django at 3, Inglourious Bastards at 2, and The Kill Bills at 1. Ro, would you like to make one more case for why Pulp Fiction should be higher on the list?
I don't think it'll change anything, so no.
Fair enough. Right you are, old sport.
All this Leo talk.
Yeah, all this Leo talk got Gatsby on the brain.
I'm gonna go watch Gatsby.
All right. You guys ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
If you disagree with us, let us know. If you agree with us, let us know. I would love to hear some people's rankings.
Yeah, I really do want to see your guys' list.
I don't know if this was controversial or not, but
yeah, I don't either.
Doesn't feel like it to me.
How the fuck did you guys?
This is definitely a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do this with more directors. I kind of wanted to mention the movie that we talk about next week. We've never really done this before, but yeah, I wanted to do Unforgiven next week because this is one of Nate's favorite movies of all time. This is easily I watched it recently. Yeah. I know Ro's on a movie watching Tear, so it should be no problem to just bust this one out. Yeah. I've been having a Gene Hackman year. I've been wanting to go through his whole filmography. So
it's so fucking funny.
Why is it so funny? He's one of the great actors of all time.
Gene Hackman. It's just funny.
The Conversation.
Downhill Racer.
Downhill Racer. The Royal Tenenbaums. Company Business. Manchurian Candidate. He's one Night Moves. He's one of the great actors of all time, and to see him teamed up with Clint Eastwood.
See, I want to watch The French Connection.
Yeah, the French. There you go. See, I started saying The French, and then I was like, I wanted to say Dispatch, but people argue that The French Connection is Coppola's best movie over The Godfather and The Godfather 2.
I've heard that.
Gene Hackman's
pretty sick. Yeah. Pretty sick.
It is interesting. There's like a Gene Hackman Tear year for you, just pretty random.
I like it though. It's just funny.
Fuck yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah. But yeah, Unforgiven next week. I'm down.
Unforgiven. Yeah.
Get your fucking boots ready.
We'll be back in the rooms.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman. Unforgiven. Mm-hmm. It's a hell of a good time.
Fuck yeah.
I'd love to keep talking about some westerns with old Major Nathan Maxwell Janis. All right, guys. DM us at the Grand Cinema Hotel on Instagram. Like and subscribe if you were on YouTube. And yeah, I hope you guys all have an amazing day or week.
I hope our list pissed you guys off.
Yeah, maybe if you think Pulp Fiction should have been number 1, you can hit up Ro. Leave me alone about it. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, guys? You guys ready to wrap this up?
Yeah,
say bye to everybody.
I'm good. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Have a good week.